Good afternoon and good afternoon. My name is Dr. James Smith Jr. and welcome back to another edition of the Dr. James Show. And as usual, I'm excited, looking forward to bringing out our guests who will have a ton of information that you can use right away. Applicable stuff. Wanted to mention to you now and at the end of the show that this will be our last broadcast live. We're going to be recording our shows in the future and uploading them onto YouTube, and they'll be there every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'll mention it again at the end of the show. And again, during the course of the show, please join in. Thoughts, comments, chats, questions for our guests. And speaking of our guest, her name is Shulie Gibson. And let me share a little bit about Shulie. She's a voice specialized speech pathologist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a corporate communication and DEI facilitator. She's a transformative leader and speaker, podcast host, traveler, and a freedom guide. And she is a spectacular person. Welcome to the Dr. James Show, Shulie Gibson. What's up?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, staying warm, but I don't think you get as cold as we do in Philly, in Houston, right?
Uh, Definitely not, but it's cold for the Texans, right in the South. Anything below 50 is cold, and we pull out our cowboy boots and coats, and other people are looking at us like when they come from other places, they're like, what's going on with these people? Northerners have on shorts, we have on coats. I'm just saying.
So
It's cold.
you wear your boots, you got your cowgirl boots?
Oh yeah, I have my boots.
You got the
My
hat
boots
going
are
on
made.
too?
I do not have a hat. Well, anymore. I had a hat. But yeah, I'm full on cowboy boots. And not just because I live in Texas. I just love boots.
Yeah, I got it. Your bio says that you are a freedom guide. What's a freedom guide?
A freedom guide is when you think about Sojourner Truth or the people that have gone ahead of us and they paved a way for us. That's just what I do. I pave the way for people to enjoy freedom, to step into full expression of who they are and their purpose. I guide them. I don't feel it's necessary to really force anybody into doing anything. Sometimes you just
Sure.
need to be guided, given some tools, some equipment so that you can make your own way. You get to decide that.
Love it. I love it. Now, who is this woman named Shulie Gibson? Who is Shulie? While you're giving your some thoughts to this, we're going to put some pictures in the background to help you. Who is Shulie Gibson? Who is she?
I am a powerful, loving, healing leader in all that that entails, not just in leadership of people, but I'm as a woman, I show up and embody that in my womanhood, in my sisterhood, in my friendships. Like you said, definitely, I love traveling and I'm a seeker. I'm a seeker. I seek to be in my purpose, to be aligned with my purpose.
As you look at the picture, let's go back. Put it back up there. As you look at the pictures, tell us what's going on in them. I see the Graham fam. People may not know what that's about. You have that look on your face like someone just said something wrong again. You look like you're speaking on stage. What's happening in your photo?
All the things. Let's see. Graham fam, of course, I went to Grambling State University for undergrad, and I am a proud alumnus. My heart is still there. I interact with people. I made and developed great friendships there. Got my start as a speech pathologist there. Learned so much about life there, how to live and navigate this world as a woman of color. There's so much that it's a rich history. And the bottom picture with the fur thrown over my shoulder, that's the party vibe. I'm not playing around. I'm serious about my business, but I'm always down for fun, the pose. I'm looking at these and thinking about it in the moment. But that was taken at a birthday party. I was celebrating my cousin's, I believe it was her 40th birthday, and she had a photo shoot. And
Nice.
I feel like that captures the power. This is the I am power. And then the one in the middle, that's me doing my thing. I was a speaker at an oil and gas conference here in Houston, and I was helping to guide people through some speaking tips to boost their speaking confidence. It was a room of executives.
Nice.
That's it. I find purpose and passion in my work. And this one, the one, I don't know how it's set up on your screen, but where I'm posing with my hand here, and I have the twist, and I have the sweatshirt on, pearls on. That was actually, that was my vote 2020. That was a little political. I was wearing my pearls and representing my soror, Kamala Harris, and getting ready for my podcast, the Speak It podcast.
Since you're talking about that right now, talk a little bit about that particular podcast and where can people join in?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, the Speak It podcast is my podcast I started during the pandemic, and with everything that was going on in the world, I felt compelled to unleash my voice and speak out. That was a way for me to participate and make sure that justice was served for all the injustices we saw in the world. And I had a platform, and I wanted to share stories and start conversations to impact change.
Yeah. Shulie, when did this journey for you start? Or when did it start picking up traction? You start trending, speech pathologists, help people find cure, heal their misgivings when it comes to the English language. When did you start thinking, yeah, that's the path I'm going to go down?
Wow. I'm working on a book right now, and I just was talking about words, the power of words, and where that started for me. I've always loved words. I was an avid reader as a young girl. That was my escape. I grew up in a small town in Louisiana, and I was always fascinated with other places and cultures and big words. I would be interested in a word and define it and try to use it. And I always loved it, but I did not know about speech pathology. I actually wanted to be a nurse, anesthetist. Say that 3 times fast.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to be a nurse anesthetist when I went to college. I knew I wanted to do something medical, and I knew I wanted to help people. But when I took my first class, I was like, I don't want to do this. Give shots. I don't think that's for me. And in a quest to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, I just looked in the course catalog, saw speech pathology, took a phonetics course, and knew that was me. Like dissecting words, like really helping people to speak and communicate better. It resonated with me.
What was it about it that resonated with you? What was it about it that made you say, I like this? This is okay. This is okay.
It was a tool. I remember being in my voice class, and I heard the voice is the mirror of the soul. That did something for me. To me and in me, and I really connected with that on a deep level. And while going through the process, my grandmother had she had an aneurysm. She died of an aneurysm, and that really impacted me. That was a really tough time. That was my sophomore year, and I wanted to quit. Actually, I wanted to quit college. She was my angel. She stepped in to raise me, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. And there was just something, I remember just being in my bed, not going to class, and it came to me, and I believe it was her speaking to me. And I was reminded that I can honor her legacy in helping other people, and that she made a lot of sacrifices for me to get to the place where I was. And I saw that as a way to honor. And when I would work more in the medical industry, I would see my grandmother and the people I served. And I saw that this is someone's mother, this is someone's father, like the humanity in people. And I felt it was a way for me to be of service. I felt it was my calling. Or I should say it is my calling. I'm still doing it.
Now, I know you work with people who have voice challenges, being able to articulate and enunciate, but you also work with people who just butcher the English language. They use some words that they should not be using. We have a picture of you with some tips and thoughts for people in their challenges. So can you speak to these two particular slides?
Credit. You're going to pull up credit. I started a series, not a word series, because there are words people just don't know. That's just what it is. We all come from different places and backgrounds, and that influences our speech and our language. And sometimes we say words unaware that are mispronounced. And I wanted to help people to know, bring awareness to it. It was a great campaign to let people know that there's support. And I wanted to do it in a light way that was not condemning or judgmental, but that would bring them up higher and give them a little laugh. Credit is not a word. It is actually credit. Conversate is not a word. It is converse.
What word is that? Conversate. You hear people say
conversate. You know, we be conversating.
Conversate is not a word, right?
It's in the dictionary, though. It's in the dictionary. It's defined, and there's a fight. There's a battle around that. It's converse is actually the mainstream form of the word. Irregardless is another one. It's regardless.
It's not a word. It's regardless. People say irregardless.
It's regardless. Here's the thing, though. When you really go back, especially in the African American community, our history is rich in so many ways. And we we learned Pidgin English, right? When we got off the ships, we're here. It was survival for us. It was influenced by the other people who were there as indentured servants. We picked up all of these pieces, like a gumbo from Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And we learned as a people to speak a language that was not our native language without being allowed to read. We had our own language system intact. And then we were brought here, we learned, and we honestly did an awesome job, phenomenal job as an African-American people, proud and so much influence. But when it's come to that, now we are in a place where sometimes when it comes to, I would say, judgment in the world, now that's turned around. You know, there's so much judgment, there's so much microaggression around language. But what I choose in this is, again, make it light, make it educational, to make people aware that you learn the code or the language and you use that. How I speak to you is not how I would speak to my sister, perhaps, or not how I would speak to a baby, but just teaching language as a navigational tool for people, where it's more empowering than debasing and demeaning. And that's why I'm like, let's make this fun. Let's learn. Let's come up. Let's rise.
I love that you make it fun. We have a quick video clip, you doing one of your Twisted Tuesdays, where you help people walk through that journey in a very fun way. Let's take a look.
It's Twisted Tuesday, and it's your girl, Shulie. I am back with another tongue twister. Tongue twisters are a great way to boost your speaking confidence and improve your speech clarity. Say this tongue twister 3 times with no errors, and if you mess up, that's okay. Just bop, breathe, organize, and pace yourself. A box of mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer. A box of mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer. A box of mixed biscuits in a biscuit mixer. Got it? Great. Because now it's your turn. Practice this tongue twister and accept the challenge. Come join me on TikTok. Follow me for more tongue twisters.
A box of grits in the biscuit mixer.
A box of grits, yes. Whatever you want to put in that biscuit mixer, mix it, okay?
Tell us about the science of what you just did and what you do with helping people to begin to articulate a lot clearer.
Like you said, articulation is just that. It's the joining of lips, tongue, teeth, what we call your articulators, in a way that forms a sound. If you want to get really technical and you partner that with your voice, it's supported by your breath, and you produce words. And sometimes that's tough for people because they have challenges. Maybe your tongue is weak. Maybe you get tongue tied. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe there are things that get in the way. Maybe you're in your head. when you're speaking, there are things that become hindrances or barriers, and I help to navigate that and give them the tools. So it's like, if you have a struggle with the sound, then we go back. I teach people the mechanics, voice and speech mechanics. So that way you become your own therapist. That's why I say I guide you. It's not like we're just going to say these words, right? I'm going to teach you about your system. So you're empowered, and you know, when you have a breakdown, this is what I can do. I can rise above it. I don't get stuck in this. I can, I can't say, I don't know, we'll do S's because people list. And so if I'm sticking my tongue out and I can't control it, then we do some exercises. And I teach you where your tongue belongs in your mouth, how you produce this sound. And so you're not trying to figure it out. Like I've seen people and I can tell, oh, they're trying to hide. They might like hide their tongue behind their bottom teeth or something, but I teach you, you know exactly where to place your tongue to articulate an S, and therefore you build more confidence. You know precisely what to do.
Shulie, who do you work with? Who are your clients? Students, adults, business owners, entrepreneurs? Who would you say you work with?
I work with adults, and mostly professional adults. Most people think speech pathologists work with kids in the schools. And I work with adults because we deserve a second chance or an opportunity to get it right. Like, you're never too old. We're always learning. I've worked with everybody from someone's grandmother whose voice is getting weak to someone who has Parkinson's disease, getting over strokes, professionals who just want to enhance their voice, to take care of what takes care of them, and that's their voice. People who are in sales or teachers, they are more prone to voice disorders. Did you know that? If you are a speaker, a teacher, or someone, a singer, you are very much prone to voice disorders. So you can have like a vocal injury, a nodule on your vocal cord. You could just have muscle tension. We have a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of people.
When someone loses their voice, what creates that? It's happened to me twice, where I was at a workshop, one of those retreats, and we had to raise our voice real loud over and over again. And after 3 days, it's gone.
Vocal load matters. We call that vocal load. How long you're speaking makes a difference. And if you're speaking excessively at excessively loud volumes, that's very taxing to your system. So when you think about your vocal cords, that's how that happens. They're like two little rubber bands, and they vibrate, and your pitch is tied to that. So how quickly they vibrate matters. So if your pitch is really, really high, then they're vibrating really quickly. If your pitch is really low, then they're vibrating more slowly. But if you're doing that in a way where you're not supporting your voice with your breath, or you're hammering it and yelling and screaming, and you're all hype about things, then this is what happens. Your vocal cords, instead of moving rhythmically in this nice wave-like fashion, they're slamming. So it's like lifting weights, and you get calluses on your hands. You can get calluses on your vocal cords. And the first step, when they let you know that, is when you get hoarse and you lose your voice. That means they're swollen. Your muscles are tired. There's the fatigue, there's pain, there's muscle tension involved. Without going too deep, I'll go down on my voice. I call myself a voice nerd. I'm passionate about it. And when you tell me, I automatically go into my brain and start diagnosing. But yeah, so you lost your voice because you were hammering away. And I know you're very passionate. So you were excited, you were going in, probably fully engaged with your body, giving it your all. And your vocal cords, which are like little bitty rubber bands, they do such an awesome job, and they get no love often. And when we're on the go, they're like, wait, that's what happens when you lose your voice. They're like, wait,
wow,
I can't do it. No more. No mas.
No mas. Let's go to the chat where there's a question. What would you say to someone who tells you that I want to find my voice in life? I feel invisible when I communicate. Can you help me? Someone who's trying to find their voice.
Put my hand on my heart.
Tell us about that. That's something you developed, right? The hand on the heart?
Hand to heart. The hand to heart. That's something that came to me probably back in 2016, because the word freedom, that's another story. So the hand to heart came to me. I stopped doing New Year's resolutions. It came to me to put my hand on my heart and tune in to what I wanted.
So when you're touching your heart, what is that symbolic of?
That's a form of meditation. I'm tapping in with my body. I'm closing my eyes automatically. I don't know if you noticed that, but tapping into my soul, Dr. James. Your soul wants something. Your soul has a goal. And biblically, we know that that goal is to prosper, which is to flower, to flourish. Yes, your soul has a goal. And if you're feeling like you're invisible, if you're feeling like you're not heard or you're not seen, it's necessary to connect, get grounded, settle into who you are. Your voice, when I said I fell in love with voice, your voice is a mirror of your soul. And I've since added in the soundtrack of your spirit. What's coming out, right? All of that's because your soul likes it. You said, ooh, when you do that, that hits you. That hits you in your soul, the seat of your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs. All of that is manifested in your voice. So therefore, if you have a voice and it's quiet, it's not just about being an introvert. That can be a personality trait of sorts. But when you feel trapped in your voice and you don't speak up for yourself, or you feel like you're looked over, we do the work. And I call that the ASK method: attitude, skills, and knowledge. So we assess your attitude. What's going on inside? What are you believing about yourself? What are you believing about your voice? Did something happen to you when you were younger that shut you down?
Good.
Are you fearing judgment? Because speaking anxiety, things like that, that's rooted in the fear of judgment. What's going on?
So it's a lot deeper than opening up one's mouth.
That's it. When you're finding your voice, you're finding you. You're finding you. That's why I love the work. It's not just, it's a mechanics and.
Well, give me the advice though. Give me the advice. I can't find me. What do you tell me what to do? By saying find your voice, I get it, but how do I do that?
What are you believing about your voice and you? That's the lie. First of all, there's something you're believing that's guiding you that's not aligned with your soul goal to prosper. It wants to be active. Your soul goal, it's alignment, it's activation. There's something in you that's not activated. And so we need to find what that is. What are you believing about you or your voice or your purpose or your work or something that's not true? So we don't stop there. And then we shed light on it. What's the truth about it though? But what is really the truth about it? What do you want? So hand to heart, we skip over a lot of make the list, because we're so programmed on what we should want, what we should like, what we should have. But no, really, like tap in, come home to you, come home. What are you hand to heart? What is it? What does your soul want? You asked me this.
You said several times, soul goal, soul goal. What is a soul goal? Because when you said it, I said, I felt something.
Right?
What's a soul goal?
Jimmy, when I was just saying it, I'm like, it feels good. It feels good. Your soul goal, that is activated intention. It's activated intention. It feels good. Like I feel it in my shoulders. When you say, where do you feel it in your body? Because I feel it in my shoulders.
Yep, shoulders, chest.
I feel
a little bit of gut reaction, visceral.
Yeah, it's very visceral. Your heart is tied to your heart. And then that's connected. If we want to get all deep, your heart is tied to your voice. It's tied to your being. So it's what I call your blueprint extraordinary, which is your highest level of living. Your soul goal calls you. And what happens again, when you say, I need to find my voice, that's all it is. You need to come home to you, tap into your soul goal. Come home.
Get Stephanie Mills to sing home, that type of home.
When I think of home, look, my blueprint extraordinary. It's like calling you, but we end up shutting down again. And so it's just alignment. So go back to that. So how do I help somebody? Yeah. So it's the attitude. We do most of the work is in the attitude. When the attitude is right, then the mechanics just come. And then we work on and incorporate the skills. So what are the mechanics? How do I stand up within myself?
When the attitude is right, the mechanics will come. Hashtag stealing that. That's so good.
Hashtag, go ahead. Shoot that out. Shoot that out. So, but yeah, so then the skills become very natural, or it makes sense, and then I just share it in a way, like I said before, that's empowering. So is it projection? Do we need to work on that? Bringing your voice forward, because also when you're trapped in there and you need to find your voice, then your voice could be down here, still at the level of the voice box. But look at all this range, look at all this space above. This is your natural amplifier. So then we bring your voice forward. We use that. Tap into your breath. People say, breathe from the diaphragm. You know, when you're singing, breathe from the diaphragm. What does that mean? So I teach people what that means, what that feels like, how to bring your voice forward, to bring out the power, and I say, so that you can be in full energy. That's on many levels. That's mechanically, right? And then that's just in full energy in the world. That's your thought. That's you embodying, that's you being, that's your existence, that's your identity, and your voice just shares that, and the mechanics just enhance it. How do you warm up your voice? How do you get your vocal cords ready? So that's a part of the mechanics. And then the knowledge. How do you keep your voice healthy? How do you keep it functioning? So are you drinking enough water? Are you living off of coffee? Because coffee dehydrates you. It takes the moisture out, and you're not putting that back in.
Do you have all you coffee drinkers out there? All you coffee drinkers, are you listening?
Coffee drinkers, speakers. So are you going out for cocktails after you have your speaking engagement, after you've been living off of coffee? Water is like, who am I? What's up?
Shulie, let's stay with water.
Okay.
Before a speaker goes on, or a singer, what type of water should they drink? I've heard several, and I believe in room temperature, but I see people drinking cold water, room temperature, right? Cold water shocks your throat, right?
Room temperature is key, because you want it to be closer to your body temperature. You don't want the shock. And then you don't even want it too hot. You can drink something warm, but you don't want it too hot. No extreme temperatures. Room temperature is the best option. And yes, people do these things like sprays and all of that. Drink some water, rest your voice. That's where the knowledge comes in. Make sure you're rested, make sure you're warming up, and don't depend on a crutch like a throat coat tea or a singer secret. Like no shade to them, but the problem comes in when people do all of these things that can be harmful to their voices, to be quite honest, and then they'll use these things as a crutch. So let's say no to the crutches. Like, let's really do the work. We do the work in personal development. We do the work in our careers. And again, our little vocal cords are over here. Like, what about us? Like, we are really out here helping and supporting you, bro, sis. help us help you.
Shulie, let's stay in the tool room right now. Someone says, what's your advice, or what advice do you have for introverts or others who lack confidence? Introverts or other individuals, any tips on helping them improve or enhance their confidence level?
Going back, without really trying to overdo it here with the soul goal, but it still goes back to the same thing: the attitude, the skills, the knowledge. What are you believing? And then also I would add to that, experience speaking. You know what it is that you want to say, and understanding that it's not about us. That's one of the things I talk about in the Beatitudes of speech, which I'm reworking now. And these are tips to help communicators have that confidence, but it's not about us. It is, and it's not, right? We take care of ourselves so that we can do the work that is impactful, that's purposeful, that's meaningful, that is aligned with your soul and your being. But when it comes to confidence and I'm being introverted, you're thinking about, what is the purpose of this communication? And if you see your voice as energy, start to shift that in you. My voice is energy. And I tell people when I do this thing, is perfect for Zoom, because you can reach out and do this effect, that my voice is like a hand. When you do a handshake, I can reach out and grab how I emote, how I express, and how I say things. And you start to see those things as, it's not about me. What is the message that I want to communicate? What is the energy that I want to share with this person? Because we communicate to connect. So understand that. So then they're thinking, what is the connection that I want to establish? What do I want to give? Not always about receiving, but how do I want to show up? And so then you really move from a place of being and embodying that. So then that's the energy of your voice. So then you see your voice as that extension. How do I want to extend myself? And then like getting outside of me, that's the key. That gets you outside of you. It's not about me. And how do I want to extend to the people I'm around? So that means from the front of the room to the back of the room. My purpose, we know this, starting with the end in mind. What is it that I want to communicate here? Do I want to communicate when I say I'm a powerful, loving, healing leader? In this situation, I aim to embody power. Or if you're having a very hard conversation, that's one of the things that we do. Introverts, I know that can be hard, right? For sometimes, like if I want to embody growth in this connection, how do I need to be in this connection to embody that which is outside of myself, but like really in here? So tap in. So to answer that in a short, tap in. What do you want to communicate, and how do you want to be?
I love that.
And do the work in that.
I love
do the work in that.
Tap in.
Yeah.
I love it. Shulie, I've been speaking professionally, gosh, since 84, 85. Had my own company since 02. Been speaking for a long time. But in spite of all that tenure, I still get nervous before I go on. I do. And I have ways to work through that. But someone in the chat room says, how do you use your nervous energy in your stomach to give you an amazing presentation? So you have the nervous energy in your stomach. How do you use that to take what you're doing to greater levels?
Okay. You can allow it to activate you, or you can allow it to shut you down. So then you choose into it. You can tap in like, oh, I'm nervous. That means I really want to do a good job. There are people out here that really need to hear from me. And I want to show up. I want to show up. Most of us, right? We want to show up competent. We want to show up impactful and knowledgeable and all of these wonderful things. And so that's your stomach. Your body is like, we feel you. Like, we want that for you too. And it's talking to you down there. Like, I want that for you too. I really, really want it. And then you just breathe into it. And you ground yourself. And you remind yourself of the connection, because I get nervous too, no matter what, even here, because I wanted to say something that would help somebody on this call. And then what did I do? You didn't see this before I jumped on. I do the things so that I connect with my mind. I mean, disconnect, from like, I'm all in my head about it, thinking about, what is he going to ask me? He could ask me about this. What am I going to say? Do I need to take some notes? I'm like, girl, this is who you be. Okay. This is how you live. This is what you're doing. But yeah, so you can release that energy. It needs somewhere to go. Like, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know and connecting and acknowledging. No, literally, I'm talking. Thank you for acknowledging that we want to do a good job. And now release it into the wind, and you're activating your vocal cords. So you start to connect things, and you breathe and you ground. Some people power pose. Right. Some people, if I'm in a car going somewhere, I'll sing a song, I'll play music, but you release that energy. It's like, thank you so much. Now release it and send it on its way so you can stand up in yourself.
That's all great ideas. It's one of the reasons why I begin every presentation by telling a story. I've already lived it. I know what's happened. I know what's going to happen. So I'm just relaying, resharing what has already happened within the first I would say 30 seconds of the story, the nerves
Mhm.
subside, but they're there. But going forward, I'm going to stand in front of the mirror.
Or you can do a tongue trill. There are other things that you can do, but this is the key. I'll say this because you said it, you told a story, but you released the sound. It's a release. You release the sound. And so you can give that nervousness a sound. I remember doing some hands-on work with a young lady at a workshop. This wasn't too long ago. It was when I was in San Francisco. And she was in fear, standing in front of a crowd. She said she didn't do it. And she had a very heavy story to share. And it showed up in her body as nausea. Like she felt like she just wanted to throw up. And I just put my hand on her stomach and I just told her to just tap in and release the sound, whatever that is. It could be your story for you. It could be the trill. It could be a song. It could literally be, yelling out, but you're releasing the sound, you're releasing it to get it out of your body. And so that way the story and what you're there to do, your purpose is able to have space, make room.
Any other quick activities or approaches you use with your voice to get it ready or that you share with other people?
Yes, my favorite. I had that. I was ready just in case. So if you're already drinking water and you can get your hands on a straw, you can, if you don't have a straw, you can do the trill. But this is a straw exercise. It's something simple. You tap into your inner 6-year-old. I'm sure we all can do that. You tap in, have that. We can call it, well, it's not inner child work, but it's childlike work, right? And then you bubble. I remember I used to blow bubbles in my milk when I was a kid, but that's all you're doing, you're bubbling. And you start out just at a comfortable pitch, just nice and relaxed. And then you can go low to high. You can do that with your lips, with your tongue, or with your straw. And you go down in pitch. You can do happy birthday. You can whatever your song of choice is. But the science behind it is you're releasing the pressure from your vocal cords. And it's a flexibility exercise. We call these vocal aerobics, or like a vocal warm-up. It's like you stretch. If you're a vocal athlete, I didn't share that. If you use your voice to make a living, you're a professional voice user or a vocal athlete. What do they do?
Vocal athlete, nice.
Yeah, they train. Vocal athletes train. LeBron doesn't get on the court without a warm-up. Like, you can name any professional athlete and they do elite training. They have trainers, on the off season. They have a regimen, they have a diet, they're drinking, they have to take care of themselves in a certain way. And so speakers, you get on, a lot of times, like you say, you're thinking about your message, you might power pose, you might have something you do to disengage the nerves. However, vocal warm-ups, that's longevity. That's taking care of what takes care of you. So yeah.
In terms of underestimating our gift of voice, how much do you think we underestimate the gift we've been given, how to use it in meetings and presentations and everyday conversation? I don't think we think a lot about how we sound unless we get feedback. How about you?
So true. This is me. I'm over here like, I'm like, God bless you, Dr. James. No, but no, it's very true. We take it for granted because we're born knowing how to make sound. We cry, we babble, just the evolution of language. And we take it for granted. And therefore, sometimes we don't maximize the potential of it. And your voice, your message, for me, even as a communication specialist, really tapping into the power of my words, the ashe, if we want to get all deep with it, which is our power to speak a thing into existence. But that's the thing in meetings. It's an opportunity, really being present, presencing opportunity, presencing power, your opportunity to share something. And again, be in full energy, not just your voice, but being in full energy. I don't know what the number is for how much we underestimate it, but it's happening. It's happening so much when it comes to diversity and inclusion. It's happening in just any meeting, any opportunity. we're not fully maximizing it. We're limiting what it is that we can say and how we can grow as a group. We withhold our voices. We withhold our messages that could bring the group forward. The voice, our messaging, our communication, it's so key, and yet, yes, so undervalued because we're unaware.
Help me out with this one, Shulie. You have done an amazing work with voice, with communication. You're traveling, you're helping others. I mean, you're the voice of reason, you got your soul goal. But a couple of years ago, you decided, I'm taking a time out. I'm gonna put all this down and I'm going to travel around the world. You just stopped and went on this Fear of Freedom tour. Tell us about what's going on here. Yeah.
Fear to Freedom.
Fear to Freedom. Tell us about what happened. We have some pictures that depict some of your travels, but Fear to Freedom, 1 year around the world. Talk to what contributed to it. What made you put everything on hold for a year and travel with a bunch of folks you don't know?
You just Oprah'd me in terms of making me want to cry. Looking back at this moment, what inspired this was burnout, seeking, chasing the carrot, really being in a place of I wasn't aligned to my soul goal. I knew I had purpose. I knew there was more in me, that I had great potential in a sense for that I had a calling on my life that was beyond like religious. You know, sometimes we think about that church-wise, like I'm supposed to be in church and that kind of thing. But I felt like that I had a bigger calling and I was playing small. And
what did that feel like? What did that feel like playing small? And what did it feel like when you got on the plane for the first time to begin this journey?
I'm like, ooh, stress. Stress, tired all the time, overweight, overworked, constantly overwhelmed. And I realized after the fact, I was depressed. I felt boxed in. I just knew I wasn't living up to my potential. I was angry. I remember being in counseling. It occurred to me, I was driving one day and I had just gotten into it with my family. Like at that time, we went through a season of disconnection and I was so hurt and I was angry and I just like had all these feelings. And what I heard was, you have PTSD. I thought that was only for people who have been in the military. Like that was for soldiers or trauma survivors and things like that. And really, I literally was like, was it Sophia on The Color Purple? All my life I had to fight. Like I felt like that I had been in this fight. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. And I ended up in therapy, which opened up so many things in me. And I got a chance to share and just pour out like these burdens that I was carrying and these things. And subsequently, again, that's when the hand to heart came to me. And the first word I heard was freedom. Like, yes, that's what my soul wanted. My soul wanted freedom, wanted that for me and wanted the best for me. And that led me to the go. I hear these things in like a word. It's so clear. It's so clear that sometimes we feel like it has to be hard, but it's like, just in case you didn't know, we're not going to give you all these words. We're going to give you freedom. What you going to do with that? We're going to teach you all about freedom. And freedom is something that you have to, well, not you have to, you get to work towards that. We give up on our freedom because it looks like work. That's what I heard.
You give up on freedom because it looks like work. What?
It looks like work. It might even look like I need to be, or I get to be with myself. We think that's loneliness, so we don't want to do it. I get to be with myself. I get to learn what I want. And that goal led me to more exploration. Go get off social media. What do I have to do? And it was just like, I kept hearing, put your head down, work, like be obscure, and come back better than before. And this opportunity was presented to me through a travel group called Remote Year. And I just did what I felt led to do, which was I sold my house, like packed up everything, literally.
Wow.
I'm talking about everything. Like, I like my clothes. I like my shoes. Sometimes I'm like, where are those? Oh, I gave them away before I left. I got rid of them. But my house and all these things that I accumulated that made me feel secure, and left my company, and traveled the world. I went to 12 countries or 12 cities.
Do you remember some of them?
Yeah. So Europe, 3 months, split Croatia, Lisbon, Portugal is where my heart just opened up. Budapest, Hungary. I was in Asia for 3 months. Vietnam, so Hanoi, which is North Vietnam. Chiang Mai, Thailand. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And then we did the Latin America leg. So I was in Buenos Aires. So I was in Argentina, Cordoba. I have the list. I have not forgotten a single one. Lima, Peru. I was in Colombia.
What did you get from this experience? What was the takeaway? What was the, how did it feed your soul? How did it feed your soul? How did it feed your soul?
I got full is what I got. I was empty. My cup was empty when I left. It was a reset, a rejuvenation. It was a revival. That's again coming home. Back in the old Baptist church, we had a revival, and the homecoming, you get to come home, but a revival. And in each country, there was a new lesson. My first lesson was how to get off the wheel. Like the grind, it's like I didn't fall on the grind fell on me. It was just I had gotten caught up into the programming, or what some might call culturescape. I think what's his name? Vishen Lakiani, I can't think of his last name. He says it's the culturescape. I had gotten caught up in the programming of what people said success was, who I, thought I needed to be in this world. Like, I didn't realize it. I thought I was living, to use your teaching, authentically, but I didn't realize that, like, a lot of it was programming. It was programming. And that was the first part. It was just the taking away all of that stuff, like that, this whole hustle mentality that we're in that blocks us from our truth and our highest being. So that was the first step. It was just like shedding those layers. And after I was shedding those layers and meeting people and learning all of this stuff, then I didn't really catch my stride until probably month 3. Honestly, first month was kind of fearful. I had a lot going on and still trying to, my friend Pat said, when you go, make sure you leave this stuff on this shore. That reminded me, like, I still was trying to bring stuff with me from this shore over there. And on this journey, I can only really have one bag. We only had room for that. So then you have to make decisions. This transfers in life. You have to make decisions. What gets to go in this bag?
I love it.
I had so much stuff I didn't need. When I went, I had my cowboy boots because I felt like I just need to have my cowboy boots. I love them. I had a pair of I had a pair of heels because I thought I needed to be cute. I had things. By month 2, I shipped those things back. Like, I'm not letting go of the cowboy boots. I still have them, but they were too heavy for my bag, and they did not serve me on my journey. So I ended up traveling in these Tevas, these little sandals, the whole time. No makeup. The only thing I made sure was that my eyebrows were good. That's my eyebrows. If my eyebrows are good and my earrings are in, I'm ready. Give it to me. But yeah, I had to unlearn to allow and create space for me.
To allow and create space for me. This is awesome stuff. The chat room is blowing up. We'll attempt to get through as many as we can in the final 10 minutes. It says, can you work with professional sports programs? How can your work benefit them?
Oh, for sure. I just created a program. I'm in works for that now because that's where I see my work expanding. I call it vocal athletics. I'll throw it out there now. And it's the same program, and it's designed for youth sports leagues, professional sports leagues. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Because it's not only about what your physical capabilities allow for you, right? It's your sonic branding.
I love it.
Think about that. What your brand has, like, you have a sound, your sonic branding. So yes.
Next question says, what's your view on having a different tone or voice when you speak professionally or publicly opposed to when you speak privately? I heard pro football player Russell Wilson, who quarterbacks the Seattle Seahawks, speak privately once. I didn't recognize his voice. It was so different from the press conferences. It kind of made me think he's a fake speaker. Your thoughts?
We do it. We call it code switching, and it's a big conversation. We do it just to be as quickly as possible. When I talked about it before, the way I speak to you and how I'm speaking on this interview is not necessarily how I would speak to my mom, or when I go back home to Louisiana. We go in and out, we shift. And people from other countries do it all the time. Have you ever walked into a place where the person is not a native speaker and they're talking and collaborating with somebody in their language, and then you come in and they're like, oh, hi, how are you? We make these shifts all the time, and they're all that version of you for that moment. It's how you navigate. It's the connection. It's about the connection that we tend to shift into. How do I communicate my message in this situation? It's a tool. Being able to be flexible is a skill and a gift that I would say as a people learn when you come here from another country, whether you're brought here or you come of your own volition. Like, it's a skill that to learn to navigate that.
Love it. Wow. Love the words. Powerful. Doing the work for freedom. Yes. Right. Someone else. Great, Shulie. Someone else earlier said, way to go, Soarer. Wow. This is greatness. Shulie, I love the travel and reset. I started resetting myself on January the 2nd. This is a great story. I'm so proud of you. What?
Lean into it. Lean into that reset.
One bag. This is amazing in it of itself. You did the thing. One bag.
One bag. Look, actually, it was more like one bag and then a carry-on. Like, I got creative with it, but essentially one bag. Most of it was hair products. Yikes.
Someone said that journey helped so many of us by watching you. This is amazing. Great analogy on code switching. Made it plain. Woo. Shulie, what's your why? Simon Sinek always talks about having a why. What is your why, and how does it really impact or inform your work?
My why is the vision of a world that is in full expression of who they are, their highest being, and their purpose. My why is a world that embraces interconnectedness, that we are more alike than we are different. And seeing that and believing in that is what keeps me going, even when I want to be like, you know what? These people get on my nerves. Or just whatever, dealing with life, my purpose continues to call to me. But that at the end of the day, to see a person in full expression, when I see that transition in my sessions, I feel that in here and I get excited for them.
Shulie, you indicated that, I believe, your birthday's in October, and that's when the new year starts for you. And I believe every year you have a word for the year. What was the word this year and why?
B. That's B. That's from the I am. If you want to go spiritual, the I am that I am. That is an identity that is dynamic. Being is, again, that full expression. That is me stepping out. That is me calling out. I didn't choose that. My soul chose that. My soul was like, this is the intention we are going to activate this year. And it feels good because I was in a place of like what they're talking about, my professional Shulie versus my at-home Shulie. And I've been in talks about just living in my greatness and being big and being bold. And my soul is like, look, it's time. You've done all this work and it's just time. It's a bringing together and it's an elevation, like highest. It's time for you to go higher, girl. I came back with the word next in my spirit, that my next is my being, not just my doing. So much of my work, when I look back, was the doing. I got to do this, I got to do this, and I got to have this. This is about the being, which is where the true power lies.
And you have a lot of support with that being. I believe last year you did a wines giving. We have a picture of you and a number of other people who I believe have your back, your front, and your support. Let's take a look at this picture and you can speak to what's happening here.
Wines giving is an opportunity for, yes, conversation, good people, good food, good wine, of course. And it's an empowerment event. And this one we talked, it was Be You Queen. Look, in that word be was the theme. And it was more or less what's working for us, what's not working, and what do we commit to in this season. And we had wonderful conversation that opened up so many things for so many women. And it was a magical evening. Like magic happens at these wine givings because the conversation just takes on a life of its own.
Amy said it was a powerful event. So I guess Amy was in the house. Shulie,
she was in the house. The
picture of the person we're going to show next, did this person play a role at all in helping you become the person you become? Just you and one other person. Let's take a look. Did this person play a role?
Oh,
did this person play a role?
Mama. She's in the chat right now. Hi, Mama. Oh my gosh, yes, she did. This woman, I feel like is my twin. The older I get, for sure. We have the same haircut right now, okay? But she's greatness. She has this amazing voice. She can sing. I didn't get that gift. I got the gift of gab. She's powerful. She loves the Lord. She is a faith walker. She is an example. She can rock some heels like nobody else. She loves beauty and elegance and all of that. But just seeing how strong she is and what she's gone through in life, she actually needs to go and write her book too. But for sure, that's my mama. Yes, thank you.
Like, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it
Shulie,
twisted.
we're getting to the end of the show. The hour flies by. We always ask our guests to help us finish the show with a 30-second mini, M-I-N-I, 30-second mini motivational keynote. We ask you to look up, look in, lean closer to the microphone and the camera, and think about what do you want them to know, feel, or do that they don't know, feel, or do now? What do you want them to think about going forward? How do you want them to be? Let me get the mic check, mic check. Next voice you will hear will be that of Shulie Gibson, pouring into you.
In this year, choose Blueprint Extraordinary. That's being. Tap into your soul goal, and you can do it right now. Put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, breathe, and ask your soul, what do you want to activate in me? Be tapped in, be aligned, and that's your highest calling, your highest purpose, and your gift will make the room for you. So be aligned with you. Come back home to yourself.
Come back home.
Yes, be in that power.
You dropping the mic, you dropping the mic. Shulie, thank you all the way from Houston, Texas, bringing us your support, your wisdom, your words, your tools that we can use right away. So thank you for that. For those of you who are watching, tune in again next week at noon, but know that it's going to be a program that we've already recorded. We're not going to be live anymore. The calendar is too busy. So we have to record when we can. We'll be celebrating Black History Month with our shows during the month of February. Please tune in. And also, we have one more spot left for our boot camp. This Thursday and Friday, one spot. If you want to be an amazing speaker, change agent, leader, difference maker. We have one more spot. Go to our website, drjamesmithjr.com, for all the details. One spot, it could be yours. Again, another informational, transformational session. Come back next week, bring a friend, friends, and don't forget, you've just been gym-packed.